Before the first star shone, there was only darkness. No light, no sound, no time. The universe was empty, cold, and silent. But even in this endless blackness, something stirred. It was not alive like humans or animals. It was not a star or a planet. It was something different, something ancient and full of power. From the depths of the void, the elder race was born. They were the first beings to have minds that could think, feel, and create. They were not like humans yet, but their thoughts stretched across the emptiness like threads of light waiting to be woven into something new. They had no bodies like we do. They were beings of energy and will. They could move without moving, see without eyes, and speak without sound. The elders watched the darkness carefully. They did not like the silence, but they also feared it. In the dark, something waited, something older than them. It was a whisper in the void, a shadow without shape. The elders called it the void whisper. It was a voice with no words, a feeling of cold that crawled under their minds. It told them secrets, but secrets that twisted and hurt. The elders tried to ignore the void whisper, but it grew stronger. It showed them visions of terrible things. Worlds burning, stars dying, life ending. It promised power if the elders would listen. Some of the elders wanted to understand the whisper. Others wanted to destroy it. But the void whisper was part of the darkness, and the darkness was everywhere. One elder, the oldest and wisest, named Lur, spoke to the others. We cannot stay in the void forever. We must create light. We must build a world where life can grow, where minds can awaken. The elders agreed. They gathered their power and shaped the first star. It was a ball of fire that burned with the light of creation. The darkness pushed back, but the star held firm. From that first star, more stars were born. The galaxy began to take form. The elders crafted planets around these stars. They made oceans, mountains, and skies. They filled the worlds with strange energies, energies that could hold life and thought. But they knew this was only the beginning. On one planet, the elders built a special place. It was called Origin. It was a world that could remember everything. The pain, the joy, the hopes, and fears of the elders themselves. Origin was alive in a way no other world was. It held the power of the elder race's memories and dreams. It could speak to those who listened. The elders sent parts of their minds into Origin. They wanted to protect their knowledge from the void whisper. But Origin was changing. It began to grow shadows beneath its surface. The shadows moved like living things. They were not part of the elders, but they learned from them. They waited. As Origin grew, the void whisper's voice grew louder. It promised the elders that they could have more power if they joined with it. It said it would help them rule the galaxy. But the elders feared the price. They knew the whisper wanted to destroy all light and life. The first battle began in the dark spaces between stars. The elders fought the void whisper's servants, strange creatures made of shadow and noise. They were hard to see and harder to fight. Many elders were lost. Their energy was scattered across the galaxy like sparks in the night. The surviving elders hid in their creations. They sealed parts of their minds into machines and into the very fabric of planets. They created guardians to watch over their secrets. They hoped one day someone strong enough would find them and finish the fight. But the void whisper was patient. It did not disappear. It waited in the shadows, always whispering. It knew the galaxy was still young. It knew new minds would rise. It was waiting for the right moment to return. Meanwhile, the stars burned bright. Life began to bloom on many worlds. The elder race faded into legend. They became stories told in whispers, old tales of gods who shaped the sky. But some of their creations still lived. Hidden machines, ancient cities buried deep beneath planets, and the memory of a war that never truly ended. In one small corner of the galaxy, a single star shone quietly. Around it, on a tiny blue planet called Earth, new minds were waking. They did not know about the elders. They did not hear the void whisper. but they carried a spark that could change everything. And far away, in the deepest dark, the void whisper smiled. The galaxy was still young, but the elder race was growing stronger. They had built stars and planets, but now they wanted something new. A world where life could live and grow for many ages. They called this world Origin. It was unlike any other place in the galaxy. Origin was a special planet. It was not just rock and water. It was alive in a strange way. It could feel the thoughts of the elders. It could hear their dreams and fears. When the elders looked at Origin, they saw a world that could remember everything. Every joy, every sorrow, every secret. The elders began to build on Origin. They created great cities made of shining crystal and living stone. These cities did not stay still. They moved and changed with the wind and the seasons. The buildings grew like trees, strong and beautiful. The elders worked together, using their minds to shape the land and sea. But as they built, something strange happened. The planet began to change on its own. Deep below the surface, shadows started to move. These shadows were not dark because of the absence of light. They were alive. They had thoughts and feelings, but no shape. They whispered to each other in a language only they could understand. The elders felt these shadows, but they could not see them. The shadows learned from the elders. They copied the elders' powers but twisted them. The shadows wanted to grow, but they were trapped beneath Origin's surface. They waited, patient and silent. The elders sent parts of their minds into Origin to keep it safe. They created machines to guard the planet, great mechanical beings that could think and feel like the elders themselves. These guardians walked the cities and forests, protecting secrets and watching for danger. But the void whisper was still there, hidden in the dark corners of the galaxy. It sent its voice into the shadows of Origin. It promised the shadows freedom and power if they helped it return. The shadows listened and began to grow stronger. One day, an elder named Nera noticed the change. She saw the shadows moving beneath her city like dark rivers. She warned the others, but some elders did not want to believe. They thought the shadows were just part of the planet, nothing to fear. Nera was not afraid. She went deep into the planet, to a place called the Heart of Origin. There she found the shadows gathered around a strange object, a black crystal that pulsed with cold light. The crystal whispered in the same voice as the void whisper. It told Nera that the elders' time was ending, that only the shadows would survive. Nera tried to destroy the crystal, but it was too strong. The shadows rose up, breaking through the surface. They spread across the planet like a dark storm. Cities began to crumble. The great machines stopped working. The light in the elders' eyes began to fade. The elder race fought back with all their power. They called upon the stars to burn away the darkness. They used their minds to hold the shadows back. But the shadows were clever and many. They knew the weaknesses of the elders and used them well. The battle changed Origin forever. The planet was scared with great wounds. Deep valleys filled with shadow. Mountains shattered by bursts of energy. Seas boiled away by fire. The elders lost many of their number. Some fled to other stars. Some hid inside their machines, waiting for a time when they could return. Nera survived but was changed. She carried the memory of the shadow crystal in her mind. She knew the shadows were not destroyed, only waiting. She made a promise to the remaining elders. They would protect the secrets of Origin. So one day, a new race might come and finish what they started. Time passed, and the galaxy grew wide and full of life. The elder race became a legend, stories told in whispers among the stars. But Origin waited. The shadows hid beneath its surface, patient and quiet. Far away, on a small blue planet called Earth, the first humans were beginning to walk. They did not know about the elders, the shadows, or the crystal beneath Origin. But the planet carried a piece of that ancient memory deep inside its heart. And somewhere in the dark, the void whisper smiled once more. The stars in the galaxy burned bright for a long time. The worlds grew, and life began to spread across them. But the darkness was not finished. It waited beyond the edges of the galaxy, watching and hungry. It was called the Silence, a force that could eat light, time, and even minds. At first, the elders did not believe the silence was real. They thought it was a story told by frightened travelers. But soon, entire stars began to disappear. One moment a star shone with millions of worlds, and the next it was gone, swallowed by the endless dark. The elders tried to fight. They sent waves of energy and mind power to stop the silence, but it was like fighting a shadow with a sword made of light. The silence was too strong and too fast. It moved without a shape, slipping through the cracks of reality. One elder, named Varn, was the bravest of all. He flew through the black space, seeking the heart of the silence. He wanted to end the hunger before it reached the worlds of the elders. But what he found was worse than he imagined. In the center of the darkness, Varn heard voices. They were not like the void whisper. These voices were cold and cruel. They'd promised him power beyond any star. They told him that the silence was not just hunger, it was a mind, a being that had lived before the stars were born. Varn felt fear for the first time. The silence wanted to join with the elders, to become stronger and rule the galaxy together. It said, "Join me, and you will never die. Refuse, and you will be forgotten." Varn returned to the elders with a heavy heart. He told them of the offer and warned that the silence was coming for all life. But some elders saw this as a chance. They wanted the power. They believed they could control the silence. A terrible war began, not just between light and dark, but between the elders themselves. Some chose to fight the silence alone. Others tried to make a dangerous alliance. The galaxy shook with their battles. The silence grew stronger with every war. It fed on fear, anger, and pain. Stars burned out, and worlds were lost. The elders' creations, once proud and strong, now fell into ruin. The great cities of origin were crushed beneath waves of dark energy. In the middle of this chaos, Varn made a final decision. He gathered the elders who still believed in hope and peace. Together, they created a powerful weapon, not a sword or a machine, but a memory so strong it could hold the light of all the lost stars. This memory was hidden deep inside Origin, sealed away in a place only the bravest could reach. Varn hoped that one day a new mind would find it and use it to fight the silence. But even as they hid the memory, the silence found them. It whispered to the elders who sought power, promising them endless strength if they would join. Slowly, more elders fell to the dark. The war ended with no clear winner. The elders were broken and scattered. The silence took many worlds, but the light still burned in the hidden places. The galaxy was quiet again, but the peace was fragile. Far away, on a young blue planet called Earth, life was beginning. It was small and weak, but it carried a secret, the memory of the elders and the shadow of the silence. The story of the galaxy's first war was not over. And in the endless dark, the silence waited, hungry and patient. The war between the elders and the silence had changed the galaxy forever. Many stars were dark. Many worlds were lost. The mighty elder race was broken. Only a few remained. They were tired, weak, and afraid. One of the last elders was named Kale. He carried the memories of the old wars, the pain, the hope, and the secrets. Kale knew the fight was not over. The silence was still out there, waiting in the dark, ready to return. Kale decided to do something. He took the last pieces of the elder knowledge and hid them in the galaxy. He carved messages into comets that flew through space. He built machines that could last for millions of years. He planted seeds of life that carried the memory of the elders. His hope was that one day, a new race would find these pieces and understand the truth. A race strong enough to finish the fight. Kale did not know if this would happen soon, or if it would take millions of years. But he knew the secret had to survive. But Kale was not alone. One of the elders, named Syra, had a different plan. Syra wanted peace, no matter the cost. She believed that the war had to end, even if it meant giving in to the silence. Syra tried to speak with the silence. She wanted to make a deal. She promised to stop fighting if the silence would leave the galaxy alone. But the silence did not want peace. It wanted control. Syra's betrayal hurt the other elders. Some wanted to stop her, but she was powerful and clever. She vanished into the dark parts of the galaxy, where no one could find her. Kale and the remaining elders fought to keep their secrets safe. They sent guardians to watch over the hidden knowledge. These guardians were machines and living beings with a single purpose: protect the past and wait for the future. Time passed. The elders grew silent. Their voices became whispers in the wind. The great cities of origin crumbled. The memory of the elder race became a legend, a story told in hushed tones among the stars. Far away, on a small blue planet called Earth, life was growing. The humans did not know about Kale, Syra, or the war. They did not hear the whispers of the guardians or see the messages carved in comets. But the secrets were waiting, hidden deep in space and beneath the ground, waiting for the day when someone would find them. And in the cold darkness, the silence was watching, waiting for the moment to return. The galaxy had been quiet for a long time. The great wars of the elders were now stories told in whispers. The stars still shone, but the memory of the elder race was fading like a dream. Few knew the truth, that the war was not over. The silence still waited in the dark, and the secrets of the elders were hidden, waiting to be found. On a small blue planet called Earth, life had grown in ways the elders never imagined. Humans were beginning to explore their world and the skies above. But they did not know they were walking on a planet once touched by the elders' power. They did not know that deep beneath the surface, ancient machines lay sleeping. The Guardians. The Guardians were not like anything humans had ever seen. They were made of metal and light, with minds that could think and feel. They had been created by the elders to protect the secrets of origin and fight the darkness when it returned. For thousands of years, the Guardians had been silent. They waited patiently beneath the earth, hidden in deep caves and forgotten ruins. But now something was waking them. Strange energy pulses had begun to shake the planet. Lights flickered in the skies. Ancient machines buried beneath the ground started to hum softly. The Guardians were stirring. On Earth, a small team of scientists discovered strange readings from deep below the surface. They found machines unlike any technology on Earth, machines that seemed alive. The team was curious but cautious. They did not understand the power they had uncovered. One scientist, Maya, was different. She felt a strange connection to the machines. She could hear faint voices in her mind, whispers of the past. She did not know if it was real or just her imagination. But the voices grew louder, calling her to uncover the truth. As Maya and her team explored deeper, the Guardians began to wake fully. The machines rose from their slumber, moving with purpose. They scanned the skies and sent signals into space. The Guardians had one mission: to protect the galaxy and prepare for the return of the silence. But the awakening did not go unnoticed. Far beyond Earth, dark forces were watching. The Void Whisper and the Silence had sensed the Guardians' return. They sent their shadowy servants to Earth, hoping to stop the machines before they could fully awaken. The battle for Earth had begun. Maya found herself caught in the middle of an ancient war she never knew existed. The fate of the planet, and perhaps the whole galaxy, depended on whether the Guardians could rise in time. And in the darkness beyond the stars, the silence waited, hungrier than ever. The Guardians were awake now. Their shining bodies moved through the forests and cities of Earth, silent and strong. They were ancient protectors, made by the elders long ago to stop the darkness from spreading. But this time, the darkness had found them. From the shadows came strange creatures, dark and twisted, sent by the silence and the Void Whisper. They moved quickly and silently, trying to destroy the Guardians before they could fully protect the planet. The creatures had one goal: to stop Earth from becoming a stronghold against the coming war. Maya stood at the center of it all. She had unlocked the secrets of the Guardians, and now she understood their purpose. But she was only human, small and fragile in this great fight. Still, she would not give up. She worked with the Guardians, helping them learn about Earth and its people. The battles were fierce. The dark creatures attacked cities and forests. The Guardians fought back with beams of light and heavy metal fists. Buildings shook, and the sky turned red with fire and smoke. But the Guardians were not alone. Humans began to join the fight. Soldiers, scientists, and everyday people stood with the ancient machines, ready to defend their home. In the chaos, Maya discovered a terrible truth. The dark creatures were growing stronger. They were feeding on fear and anger. The more people feared, the more powerful the darkness became. If Earth fell into despair, the Guardians might lose. Maya knew she had to do something. She reached out to leaders across the world, calling for hope and unity. She spoke of the Guardians and the ancient war. Many did not believe her at first, but when the dark creatures attacked cities, no one could ignore the truth. Slowly, humans and Guardians fought side by side. They learned from each other. The Guardians taught humans how to use light and energy in new ways. Humans showed the Guardians the strength of courage and hope. The battle was long and hard. The sky was dark, but the light of the Guardians and the spirit of humanity shone brighter. The dark creatures were pushed back, but the silence was still waiting in the shadows, planning its next move. Maya looked to the stars, knowing this was only the beginning. The secrets of the elder race were awakening, and with them, the final battle for the galaxy was near. The battle had changed everything. Earth was no longer a quiet blue planet. It had become a beacon of hope in the dark galaxy. The Guardians stood tall beside humans, their lights shining bright against the shadow. The darkness had been pushed back, but it was not gone. Maya stood on a hill, looking at the stars. She thought about the elders, their great cities, and the wars they fought long ago. She thought about the Guardians and the humans who had joined the fight. She knew the galaxy was watching now. The elders had left behind secrets, power and knowledge that could help or destroy. The Guardians would protect those secrets, but humans were no longer just simple beings. They were ready to learn, ready to grow. Leaders from Earth sent messages to other worlds. They spoke of unity, courage, and the need to stand together against the darkness. The galaxy was wide and full of dangers, but it was also full of life and hope. Deep in space, the shadow moved. The silence had not been destroyed. It was gathering strength, waiting for another chance. But now, it knew Earth would not be easy to take. Humans and Guardians began to build new cities, not just on Earth, but on other planets. They shared knowledge and power, creating a new future for the galaxy. It was a future born from old battles, but shaped by new hope. Maya smiled, knowing the story was not finished. It was just the beginning of a new age, a time when light and courage would fight the darkness together. And as the stars shone brightly above, the galaxy listened.